Well, hi everybody out there on YouTube. This is Sparky Mike. Welcome to the Demonoid Drifter channel. Had an issue last night, about 11 o'clock. Noticed the tank was overheating upstairs. My 200-gallon reef tank had jumped almost 2 degrees, and I come charging downstairs, found the chiller running like it is right now, and lo and behold, a pump had seized. A closed loop pump that runs through my heater module and chiller had basically seized up and quit running, allowed the chiller to freeze solid like a block of ice, almost ruining a $1,500 chiller, and was an overall nightmare till about 4:20 in the morning after I calmed down and got it all working again. But just wanted to give a tip and possible review of a Vectra L1 Ecotech pump, which only had about 18 months on it. It had basically melted down from the inside. Plastic melted onto the rotor, and basically it was about near impossible coming out of the hole, and the plastic inside the hole is also melted. I don't know if you can get a real good view, but that is not calcium, that is not garbage, that is not calcification or residue, that is melted plastic. So anyways, wanted to give my review on an Ecotech Vectra L1 pump. In my book, it's not worth 25 cents if it ain't gonna last 18 months. A big waste of 450 bucks. If you got one of these running on your tank, I suggest you buy a backup immediately. And my backup pump, which is about 10 years old, is an Iwalki 40 WMD 40 RLT. Pumps just as much, believe it or not, at a 800 GPM pump. Pumps just as much water as that 3,400 gallon per minute or whatever it is Vectra. Pushes the same amount of water at about 13 feet, believe it or not. So I don't know how an 800 GPM pump beats a 3,400 GPM pump at 12 or 13 feet. But anyways, this thing's a piece of junk. I had it in a closed loop deal to where it ran basically through the heater, pulls through the heater module, feeds the pump. Pump shoots up here, goes through the chiller system and back into my sump. So basically had not a whole lot of head pressure on that Vectra pump, and it ran continuously for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never even shut down for feeding time. In fact, it ran through a Venturi that I showed on earlier to aerate the sump a little better. And anyways, it shut down, the chiller froze up like a block of ice, just about broke the reservoir inside the chiller, and was an overall nightmare until 5 o'clock this morning. So didn't get any sleep, metal a pump replacing, cutting out old plumbing, redoing it. But it's best if you're an avid reefer and you have critters in your tank that you don't want to lose, that you should have backup equipment, such as backup pumps. This is my backup main pump, and I have a backup to the backup for this pump here that failed. So in my 35 years of doing this, I've run every pump you can imagine, little, giant, all of them. I have tried every pump you can imagine, seriously. And I've been running these Iwalkis for 25 to 30 years. And I tell you what, I'm getting 15 years plus per pump. Unless you run them dry and burn them up, they are not going to fail you for over 10 years. In fact, I believe the one on the right there is 10 years old. The one on the left here is about a year old. The one on the left being about $500 a pop from marineandreef.com. And the one on the right is now $250 from Marine and Reef. And of course, you can get the 10% coupon. So anyways, I gotta probably buy another backup to my backup to replace that piece of junk. So definitely keep an extra pump on hand, especially if you own one of these Ecotech Vectra pieces of shit. Anyways, about cost me more than just a pump. About cost me a chiller and could have cost me all my critters in my tank by the time I could have got another one here by mail order. So my opinion, don't buy an Ecotech pump because they're junk. Absolutely junk. I wouldn't even put that on a beta tank. Anyway, sorry for the noisy atmosphere down here. I had a hell of a mess down here last night. I had gallons of water and oh my god was it a mess. Anyways, unless you got all night to play with a pump because it burns up and locks up, then go ahead and buy another Ecotech Vectra, but in my opinion they ain't worth a shit. You want to buy a good pump, buy an Iwalki. Japanese or American motors. Just my opinion of 35 years of doing this and the nightmare I went through last night. After seeing that nightmare and what I come across, I thought I'd do a review and kind of give you an idea. Anyways, put some new lights in my basement, dimmable LEDs. Being an electrician, only took me a couple hours. And I don't think the lights cost me more than, what was it, 180 bucks for all of them, including the Romex to run back to the panel. While I was doing that, I also moved an evaporative cooler that I used to have at my back door coming in the kitchen window. I moved it, did a bunch of sheet metal work, and proceeded to mount it to a basement window well, forcing the air in through a basement window. And I can of course crack it to get some fresh air in here for these guys, which helps keep the pH up. And when that pump went down last night, I had to shut off all the lights because it was overheating. The pH started a major dive, sucked up a half a liter of marine buffer, and it was an overall nightmare. 5 hours of dealing with this junk. And thank God I had a bunch of plumbing parts, and thank God I had an extra pump. So we are about fixed today. I have a minor leak on the fitting of my chiller, which I'm going to shoot a little silicone on the rubber cork and screw it down a little while, but it seems to be my only leak is right here at the rubber cork. So all in all, having an extra pump saved the day. You should probably do that as well. If you're running one of those Ecotech pumps, I definitely recommend buying yourself a backup pump. Of course, buy the GPM that's appropriate for whatever you're using. Of course, I don't recommend those, and they definitely don't put out 3,400 GPH at 0 feet of head. This 2,000 GPH Iwalki kicks its ass. Probably pushes twice the water at 0 head, and definitely beats it at 13 feet ahead. I have 3 times water that Ecotech had pumped out originally when I bought it for this system. Like I said, it got moved over to nothing more than a closed loop pump to run through my heating and cooling system, and that'll just by itself it failed on that. So if you want to risk all your critters on one of them Ecotechs, go for it. I wouldn't, and I will never again. And why I was stupid enough to not go with my intuition and my experience, I'll never know. Figured the newfangled DC pumps and low wattage might save a buck, but I'll tell you what, could have killed everything in my tank. And about cost me a $1,500 chiller if it froze it any harder. So that's my opinion. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Happy reefing.